Welcome to Miss Scarlett, the place to be feminine. Subscribe and enjoy. Tim stared at the embossed invitation in his hand, his heart fluttering with nervous excitements. The annual Halloween costume party at his friend Jenna's mansion was the talk of the town each year, with everyone going all out on elaborate disguises. An idea suddenly sparked in Tim's mind, sending tingles down his spine. This party could be the perfect opportunity to finally express a deeply buried side of himself he had always kept locked away. For as long as he could remember, Tim had secretly yearned to explore his feminine side. He often fantasized about the feeling of soft fabrics against his skin, skillfully applied makeup enhancing his features, and the rhythmic click of heels as he walked. But he had never had the courage to act on these desires, too afraid of judgment from others and not even sure where to begin. He read over the invitation again, the words, "costume required for entry," jumping out at him. His pulse quickened as the idea took hold, growing from a spark into a burning determination. He would attend the party as Tina, transforming himself into the elegant and confident woman he dreamed of being. Tim took a deep breath, trying to calm the swirl of emotions inside him. Anticipation, excitement, and anxiety churned in his stomach as he planned out the next steps to make his idea a reality. The party was only 2 weeks away, so he would need to act quickly. The first and most crucial step would be acquiring the perfect dress. Something sophisticated, yet eye-catching. That would make him feel beautiful. But he had no idea where to even shop for women's clothing, let alone what styles would flatter his masculine figure. After some frantic Googling, he learned of a quaint little dress boutique downtown that seemed promising. They offered private shopping appointments, and the website boasted a wide selection of gowns for all body types. With shaking hands, Tim called and made an appointment for that very afternoon, under the guise that he was shopping for his girlfriend. A few hours later, Tim cautiously pushed open the door to the boutique, a bell tinkling cheerfully to announce his arrival. He felt his cheeks flush as he took in the racks of colorful dresses and displays of lacy undergarments. What was he thinking? Coming here like this? "Welcome!" a friendly voice called out. A petite blonde woman emerged from behind a rack, smiling warmly at him. "You must be Tim. I'm Scarlett. How can I help you today?" Hi," Tim stammered, his mouth feeling dry. "I'm looking for a dress for my girlfriend, for a costume party." The words tumbled out awkwardly. Scarlett didn't seem to notice his nervousness. "Wonderful. Do you have anything particular in mind? A certain color or style, perhaps?" "I'm not really sure," Tim admitted. "I've never shopped for something like this before." "Not to worry, we'll find something perfect," Scarlett assured him with a wink. "Can you tell me a bit about your girlfriend? Her coloring, size, the sort of styles she prefers?" "Well, she has bright blue eyes and blonde hair. She's about 11 inches and has an athletic build," Tim described, picturing the feminine version of himself he imagined. Scarlett tapped a perfectly manicured finger against her lips, pondering. "I have just the thing. Wait here." She returned moments later, holding a dress in a deep sapphire blue. "This color will make her eyes pop, and the cut is so fun and flirty while still being sophisticated. It has some stretch too, so it will hug her figure in all the right places." Tim reached out to touch the dress, marveling at how smooth and light the fabric felt. He was surprised to realize it was exactly the type of dress he had fantasized about wearing. "It's perfect," he said softly. "Excellent. Let me grab a fitting room started for you." Scarlett hung the dress in a spacious fitting room, artfully arranged to look like a luxurious boudoir. "Just let me know if you need any other sizes or options." "Thank you so much," Tim told her gratefully before closing the door. He stared at his reflection in the full-length mirror, suddenly overwhelmed by what he was doing. But beneath the anxiety, there was an undeniable thrill. After making sure the door was fully locked, he carefully removed the dress from its hanger. He shed his clothes quickly, not allowing any time for hesitation. The dress slid over his head and fell into place with a whisper. The material was stretchy enough to accommodate his decidedly male body, yet it skimmed over him like liquid, clinging to the slight curve of his waist. Tim stepped forward to evaluate his reflection, and his breath caught in his throat. Tears pricked at the corners of his eyes at the rush of emotions that hit him. He couldn't believe the transformation. The man in the mirror was gone, replaced by an undeniably feminine figure. Something inside him slotted into place, like a missing puzzle piece he never realized was absent. He had never felt so right before, so completely himself. In that moment, he knew without a doubt that this was more than a costume, more than a way to sneak into a party. This was an awakening, an embracing of a core part of his identity he had denied for far too long. Tim purchased the dress, along with a pair of sparkling heels Scarlett helped him pick out. Walking to his car, clutching the pink-striped shopping bag, felt surreal, like he was in a dream he might wake up from at any moment. Over the next 2 weeks, Tim threw himself into preparing for his transformation into Tina. He scoured YouTube for makeup tutorials, buying the top-rated products recommended and practicing the techniques each night. He purchased forms and learned to apply them for a realistic look under the dress. Each night, he walked back and forth across his apartment in the heels until his ankles stopped wobbling and his stride became smooth and controlled. As Tim worked to feminize his appearance, he realized that the mental transformation into Tina was equally important. He studied the effortlessly graceful way women moved and interacted, the musical cadence of their voices, the fluid, expressive gestures of their hands when they talked. He started thinking of himself as she, even when in male attire. Tina became more than an alter ego. She became an embodiment of his true self. The night of the costume party finally arrived. Tim took his time getting ready, savoring each step of the process. He shaved his legs until they were silky smooth, luxuriated in the feeling of satiny lingerie against his skin. The dress slid on like it was made for him, his curves now more ample with the addition of forms and padded hips. He styled the blonde wig into tousled waves that fell around his shoulders, applied false lashes, shimmery eyeshadow, and glossy fuchsia lipstick with a now practiced hand. A spritz of delicate floral perfume at his wrists and neck was the final touch. Tim stood in front of the full-length mirror and marveled at his reflection. Tina stared back at him, blue eyes sparkling, rosebud mouth curved in a confident smile. She was elegant, glamorous, and unmistakably a woman. Pride and joy swelled in his chest, along with a newfound sense of peace. Tina took a deep breath and stepped out of the Uber, her heels clicking on the cobblestone driveway leading up to Jenna's sprawling mansion. Glittering jack-o'-lanterns lined the path, their flickering candlelight mixing with the glow of strategically placed landscape lighting. The effect was enchanting, magical even. Music and laughter spilled out of the open front doors, along with the chatter of costumed partygoers. Tina smoothed her dress, the silky material cool against her palms. A shiver of excitement raced down her spine. This was really happening. She made her way into the party, marveling at the incredible array of costumes. Monsters mingled with fairy tale princesses. Superheroes danced with pirates. The attention to detail was incredible, like something out of a Hollywood movie set. Almost immediately, heads started turning in Tina's direction. Men and women alike paused their conversations to watch her as she passed. Some looked at her appraisingly, their gazes traveling the length of her legs before flicking back up to her face. Others simply stared, their expressions a mix of admiration and envy. Tina felt a flush rise to her cheeks, secretly thrilled by the attention. She had never experienced anything like this before, had never felt so noticed, so feminine, so desirable. It was exhilarating and nerve-wracking all at once.
"Well, hello there,"
a deep voice drawled from behind her.
"I don't believe we've met."
Tina turned to find herself face to face with a handsome man dressed as a 1920s gangster, complete with pinstripe suit and fedora hat. His eyes, a striking shade of green, sparkled with interest as they met hers. "I'm sure I would remember meeting someone as stunning as you," he continued smoothly, offering his hand. "I'm James. Tina," she replied, surprised by how easily the name rolled off her tongue. She slipped her hand into his, her breath catching slightly as his fingers closed around hers. "Charmed." "Believe me, the pleasure is all mine," James said, bringing her hand to his lips and pressing a soft kiss to her knuckles. Tina felt a tingle race up her arm at the contact. "Can I get you a drink?" Tina smiled and nodded, allowing him to lead her over to the bar. She perched on a stool, crossing her legs and relishing the whisper of silk against her smooth skin. James signaled the bartender and ordered 2 French 75 cocktails, the pop of a champagne cork punctuating his words. As they sipped their drinks, James regaled her with witty anecdotes and charming compliments. Tina found herself giggling, slipping easily into playful banter. There was something about James that put her instantly at ease, made her feel like the most fascinating woman in the room. They chatted about everything and nothing. The lavish costumes of their fellow partygoers, their favorite classic Halloween movies, the way the full moon cast an otherworldly glow over the gardens outside. Tina hardly noticed the time passing, too caught up in the sparkle of James's eyes and the warmth blossoming in her chest every time he laughed at something she said. As the night wore on, James escorted Tina onto the dance floor. She hesitated initially, unsure if her newly acquired grace in heels would translate to dancing. But as James slipped an arm around her waist and drew her close, all her worries melted away. They swayed to the music, their bodies moving in perfect sync. James spun her out and back in, Tina's skirt flaring around her legs in a whirl of shimmering blue. She laughed breathlessly, dizzy in the best possible way. When the song ended, James dipped Tina low, supporting her with a strong arm behind her back. She clung to him, her fingers digging into the rich material of his suit jacket. For a moment, they simply stared at each other, their faces mere inches apart, pulses racing. Then, slowly, giving her plenty of time to pull away, James closed the distance between them and captured her lips in a gentle kiss. Tina inhaled sharply, then melted into him, her eyes fluttering closed. His mouth was warm and firm, tasting faintly of champagne and something uniquely him. Kissing him felt like coming home, like a piece of herself she hadn't even realized was missing, clicking into place. When they finally broke apart, breathless and flushed, it was like the rest of the party had fallen away. Nothing else mattered except James's arms around her and the look of pure wonder on his face. "Wow," he murmured, lifting a hand to gently tuck a stray curl behind her ear. "You're even more incredible than I realized." Tina ducked her head shyly, feeling a blush stain her cheeks. She wasn't used to such open admiration, having spent so much of her life trying to blend into the background. But here, now, in this shimmering dress with this captivating man, she felt truly seen for the first time.